Let me minimize that. Okay. All right. So welcome everybody. This is the Game Master. I'm going to do a little bit something a little bit different today. So we're not doing a game. We're actually doing a wrestling review because I'm actually a big fan of wrestling, and I got my nephew with me, Kevin, and we're going to go over the wrestling for AEW last week. As we're AEW fans, don't like the WWF, it sucks. All right, all right, time to get started. Let's see here. Okay, so the first show is Dynamite. Have you got all your notes, or did you
Well,
watch everything?
I'll tell you what I didn't watch. I didn't watch Rampage or Collision.
You didn't watch
I watched
Rampage or
Dynamite.
Collision. Well, boo
But they
on
had a
you.
pay-per-view coming up, man. All it was going on show.
Boo! Okay, so you watch Dynamite though. So
Yeah, I watched that, and it was a
first
great go-home
match we
show.
got is the Young Bucks versus the Guns with Switchblade and Dade. I don't remember if this was this a yeah, it says Young Bucks and Kenny. Was this like a 3-man match?
It was supposed to be, but the match never really got started, I believe.
Yeah, I don't have a winner in it. I don't know who actually won.
I don't think it was an actual match. I think it just got
Okay,
thrown out
it was
because of
just free
DQ
for
count.
all. That's right. They
Yeah, I
just went
think
in
that's what
free for
happened.
all. Okay, so they just did a free for all, and nothing really happened there except everybody got their ass whooped. The next thing we got is the MGF interview. So it's just typical MGF, like I'm going to win the title, I'm going to bring it home, and all that. Did you have any comments on the MGF interview?
I guess he's gonna be a face for a while, man. That's something.
Well, it's what it looks like. So next thing we got is John Moxley versus Ray Phoenix, and of course Moxley wins.
Also,
My question is, did Ray Phoenix get hurt for real, or what was that like? What was the deal on that? Because he was in that match at Wembley, and they took him out of the match, and so since they took him out of the match, uh, the Blackpool Combat Club didn't have to come up with a third member.
yeah.
So I haven't like let me just do like a quick Google search real quick and see if he's actually
Well,
injured.
I can tell you what happened. He didn't actually get injured. He had visa issues. So, like, some
Oh,
juniors,
visa issues. Okay.
yeah, some juniors thought it was a great idea to book a bunch of people for a match before they checked to see if they actually had a passport or not. And turns out that Ray Phoenix doesn't have a passport, so he wasn't legally able to go
How
to
can he
United
not have a
Kingdom.
passport? Man, he wrestles in Mexico all the time.
Well, I mean, maybe there's different levels of passports. Like
No, there's
maybe you
only
just
one
can't go to Europe or
passport. You
something.
have to have a passport to go to Mexico now. You didn't
Well,
used to. You could go to like Mexico and Canada without a passport because we had like a deal going on with them. But when they cracked down after 9/11, when they cracked down on everything, you have to have a passport now to like fly across the country. I think you have to
well,
have a passport to even fly. I don't even think you can go to like from like Florida to California without a passport. But I know that you have to have definitely have to have it for Mexico. So I don't understand how he wrestles in Mexico and doesn't have a passport.
yeah. I mean, he could be wanted in Europe. I mean, I know that's
So
like
who do you
a Jeff
think was
Hardy
going to be their
situation.
third guy?
Hmm. Who was going to be the third guy? Yeah,
Yeah, who do you think? Is there any speculation on that?
that's a good question. Uh,
I thought it
if
was
they
a
had a third
possibility that they
guy,
was going to bring somebody in new and that fell through, and so they just went ahead and took Ray Phoenix out of it because of that. But if you're saying it's
No,
like
they got
visa
passport
issues,
issues.
I'll take your
Yeah,
word on
yeah.
that.
Well, that's what I was listening to another wrestling podcast, and that's what they were saying was that
Man,
with
all
these
other
shows.
broadcasts are crap. Don't listen to them.
Okay, well, I mean, and for whatever reason, Ray Phoenix is written off of the match, so it's a 5.5
Okay,
now. And I
so no
called
more Ray
Santina and
Phoenix.
Ortiz. And I called that one. Like I thought they would be coming back, and sure enough, they're back. So
So
that's
next
pretty
up, we
cool.
had the contract signing between Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho.
That was really good.
And man, yeah, uh, as your typical, like, everybody gets mad and like knocks over the table.
Oh, absolutely. That's the whole purpose of a contract signing. And
And
have
the
you ever
purpose of
had
the
a contract
table is
signing
for it to
where they
get
just
knocked over or somebody to go through it.
have you ever like seen a contract signing where they just like sign the paper and shake hands and then be done with it?
And I seen one where it was like that, and it was like it was Cactus Jack or one of his personas that was like in the contract signing, and he says, "Man," he says, "and since no one else has gone through this table, I guess I'll do it myself." And he like jumped up and like went jumped through the table.
I, I wish there'd been a
So
lot of
that was
that.
pretty funny.
It's like an elbow through the table.
All right. So next we have an interview with Adam Cole. Same thing. I'm going to win the title. Blah 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 blah.
Hey,
Any
what's he
any
gonna
thoughts on
do?
that?
Hey, what's Adam Cole gonna do? Is he gonna turn?
Man,
I don't know.
what's going to happen? Oh man.
Who's gonna turn? Hey, someone's gonna turn.
And someone's going to turn. No, no, I don't know. I don't know. Who's going to turn? All right. Next we have Darby Allen and Nick Wayne versus Swerve and AR Fox. And my question is, what's going on with AR Fox? Is
Yeah, the
AR
passport
Fox
issue strikes
injured?
again.
Is he injured or are they just fucking him?
The visa issue strikes again.
It was another visa issue? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah.
Wow.
Again, I mean, you tell me who books the match before they double check to make
You
sure that
tell
people
me
can
who
actually
doesn't
go
have a
out of the country.
visa. I mean,
Hmm?
if they're telling you that you're going to be wrestling in London, England, and you obviously know this like before that you have to actually be there, why do you not have a visa?
Well, I guess you're trying to get a passport. I know my friend up at work, he was wanting to go on like vacation to like Europe and like a foreign country, and he'd been trying to get his passport for like a year
Man,
because they're
this
just
was the
backed up
biggest
again.
opportunity that AR Fox has ever had.
Oh, I
I
agree, man. I'm
cannot
sure he's
believe that he didn't have a visa.
I'm sure he's the
I bet he's just
he's as
sitting in a
mad as
room
anybody.
somewhere crying now.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, that was the biggest wrestling show that's ever been so far. The Wembley show, they had over 81,000 people. They set like an
They
attendance
had,
record and everything.
all right, let me give you the count. They had 81,030, uh, uh, yeah, 81,000. Well,
Thirty
I've got
something.
8,135, but it was 81,000 and something 35.
Gotcha.
So it had over 81,000, just
Yeah,
barely.
it's like the biggest wrestling show attendance
Is
wise
the
that's ever
biggest.
been. So,
Supposedly they're claiming it's the biggest wrestling show ever. And I was going to
yeah, attendance
verify
wise.
that. I was going to like check and see if WWE had ever had a bigger wrestling show.
Well,
But
to
if they've
find what
never
you mean
done
by a
Wembley
big show,
Stadium, they may not, because Wembley Stadium may be the biggest stadium there is. I don't know.
it is. Well, you have to define what you mean by big. Like, are you looking at attendance, or are you talking about like big matches?
No,
Because
I'm
I mean,
talking
this one
about
won the
attendance.
attendance.
I mean, all the WWE is just crap. None of their matches are any good.
Well, I mean, you could
So
talk about like older WrestleManias that were like
that's
actually
what I'm
good.
saying. I mean, back before like they sucked, they may have had. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the Wembley Stadium. Let me like Google that.
Can I
Do a
believe
quick
that
Google.
that is the biggest stadium in the country, as far as I know. That's where they
So you
play
think
soccer
Wembley
at.
Stadium is the biggest stadium that there
I
is?
think it is. Yeah, that's something you could definitely Google as well. But I believe it's the biggest stadium, and makes sense that they would have the most people.
Okay.
I know the
It seem
forget.
odd that like WWF had never played at Wembley Stadium.
Well, they're weird. They don't really do that much with the like European audience. Like they have a show there once a year in Europe, and that's it. And like because remember Vince McMahon, he's just like he's an old senile person, so he doesn't like want to do a WrestleMania at Wembley in Europe. He always keeps WrestleMania somewhere in America. So they'll do like a Raw or a SmackDown or something in Europe, but they don't put on like a big event. They don't put on a pay-per-view or God forbid, a WrestleMania kind of level event. They just don't do
List
that.
of attendance records. Wow. So it can actually look at the attendance records. This is hilarious. It has every like WWE show and the attendance records. Well,
Wow.
and they've done 80,709 at WrestleMania in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, that's where the Cowboys play. That's a big stadium.
I think that is their biggest. Let me
And
see.
there you go.
No,
And it
no.
could be.
Says they did 82,265 at MetLife Stadium for WrestleMania 35. So,
Yeah, they
oh,
also
wait a
lied about their
minute.
attendance
No,
numbers.
but back up. That's the actual seats that were available. The actual attendance was 63,000.
Well, there you go.
So, back up a
Excuse me.
notch there. They
Well, I
haven't
guess Wembley
done
might not
that.
be for you.
Their highest one was Arlington, Texas. Arlington, Texas can actually seat 101,763.
Yeah, that stadium is nutty. It's where the
Okay.
Cowboys play at.
Okay. So they did 80,709. So they were close.
Okay.
So, man, I'm going to say that per the website here, as it doesn't have the actual attendance for all of them, but none of the other ones are even like close. It has the actual attendance for all of them that are like close to 81,000.
It's like I said,
So I'm
man.
gonna say that they
I
beat
think it really is.
WWE.
Yeah, I think they
Say they
actually
beat
did.
them.
And man, they're not going to take that line down, man. I'm sure, like
Man, I
WWE, they're
bet
gonna.
I bet Vince McMahon's in a rage fest right now. I bet he's rage logging.
Yeah, he just like come up out of his coma, and he's just like he come up out of the
Actually, I
Lazarus
heard
pit.
that Vince McMahon was like on medical leave.
Yeah, I think he had
He
some
was on
kind of
like a
injury or
medical
something.
leave. I don't know if he's back yet or not.
He might blew out his quads again walking to the ring. I don't know.
Possibility.
Yeah, both quads, both legs, just walking to the ring because he was so mad.
Okay. So the Darby Allen Kent Nick Wayne match, Darby Allen wins and AR
Of
Fox
course.
gets like shit upon
Yeah,
and
we'll
and that
find out
that
what happens
happened.
to him. That
And
happened.
I guess AR Fox was in a room somewhere crying.
Yeah, he's sad because he can't go, and I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I mean, maybe he'll do a run in at some point in the future. I
Well,
don't know.
I mean, he lost his opportunity. I mean, that was like it. That
Uh,
was Wembley Stadium. Man,
yeah,
that
it's
was
big
like that
stuff.
was the first pay-per-view he would been on.
And it's convenient they have another pay per view coming up next week.
Yeah,
So maybe he'll do
I
something
don't know
there.
who come up with having back-to-back pay-per-views. That's stupid.
Yeah, it was not their best decision, man. Like they're literally gonna have another pay per view next week. So I guess we could like talk about the matches we think will be on it, since I think there's only two so far.
Yeah, I think they introduced. Well, we know that. Let's see. We know that Christian Cage is fighting. Not Christian Cage. Luchasaurus is fighting. Is it Darby Allen?
Yeah, that's the one
Okay,
match.
so that's the one that I know.
I think there's a second match, but
I can't remember if there's a
and we'll come
second
back
one.
to it. I might think of it. I think there's a second match, but I mean they're basically just gonna have to build an entire card overnight. So I
Yeah, pretty much. They're gonna announce everything on like on like Wednesday, I guess.
yeah, I guess so.
All right, so we had an interview with FTR and the Young Bucks. They decide not to fight each other because they're both faces. So nothing happens on that interview. Any thoughts?
It's gonna be a great match.
It's gonna be a great match. That's true. All right. Next we have Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue. Squash match. Ruby Soho wins, and nothing new there. At least Ruby Soho gets the win now. I remember when
I'll
Ruby
tell you, I
Soho was a
like that.
jobber.
I'm glad she's winning matches again. I mean, when she turned heel like 6 months ago, that was my first thought: is at least she'll win matches now.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
I don't know.
it. She
We'll
sure
see what
didn't win
happens,
none as a
man.
face.
Seems
All
like the
right, we
women's
got
division is just in.
interview
Oh
with.
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, we got interview with Roderick Strong. So we got some
What's
foreshadowing.
gonna happen?
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah,
And
we'll
so
see.
basically, like he just like whines and cries that Adam
But
Cole's his
you're my
friend.
friend.
Hey, Adam Cole's my friend. MGN needs to
He's
get his
my
own
friend.
friends.
That's right.
All right, so then we had a call out. It looks like the Acclaim called out the House of Black,
Oh yeah.
and I think they got did they get they were getting in the process of getting beat down, and I think that uh, Billy Gunn not intervened.
Yes. Say Billy
Okay,
Gunn comes
all right,
running
so
in
Billy
without
Gunn's
boots,
back
mind you.
now, and they
Yeah,
made the
Billy Gunn comes
match.
in.
Do what now?
So Billy Gunn comes in without boots, mind you. Yeah, doesn't have any
Oh
boots.
yeah, he remembered to bring his boots.
Yeah.
I guess he saw what happened to his boots and says I better bring some.
Right, set him off. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that to my boots. I'm totally gonna beat that ass now.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so
yeah,
that
that
sets
sets
up the
that up
match for
for
the
pay per
pay
view.
per view.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing we have is the Hardys versus Aussie Open. Oh wait a
Yeah.
minute, is that right?
Yeah,
Was
you're
that the
right. I
main
mean, I
event?
don't know why it happened either, but you're correct, sir.
Okay, so that was the main event, and obviously Aussie Open win because they're going to be fighting at the pay per view.
They have a match at the pay per view. The Hardys don't.
Hardys do not. In fact, I
I
don't
get
even think the Hardys were in the pre-show.
No, they weren't. They might actually do something at the next. Well, again, Jeff is like, basically wanted in every single country in this world, so he's not allowed to leave the United States. So, I
Oh,
mean,
you know
maybe,
what? He might not be allowed to leave the United States.
I don't think he
because of
is,
his
dude.
drug
Like it's
problems.
real.
I don't know how that works with drug problems.
Well, I mean, if you're
Because
wanted in other countries,
he's had like actual like jail time, hasn't he?
yes, many times. He's been
So
arrested and
okay, so
like
he
done
may
some
be on
stuff, man.
probation. He may not be
He's
allowed to leave the
wanted in
country.
or certain states. There was a pay per view they had a while back where they went to North Carolina and they couldn't use him at the pay per view because he's still wanted in like certain states in America. So
Really? So he hasn't like settled all of his legal disputes. He just ran out on some of them.
yeah, that's what I understand.
Wow.
I mean, it's something like traffic lights. It's not like he murdered anybody. It's just something small. It's
Oh,
like a traffic
okay.
light thing. So if he got pulled over, or if somebody found him in North Carolina, they could totally take him in. But they're not gonna like chase him across the United States or anything.
Right.
But
Okay.
man, if he's on TV in North Carolina, I sure know where to find him.
Okay. So next we got Rampage, and you said you didn't watch Rampage, so I'll just go over it like quickly here. As we always know, every wrestling show has to begin with Orange Cassidy, and
That's a
apparently,
requirement.
like he's not only are they pimping him out for Dynamite, they're pimping him out for Rampage now.
Oh man, who's
So
he squash
Orange
this
Cassidy
time?
does a title shot against Aaron Solo, and of course he wins.
Hey, who's there in Solo?
Yeah, that's what I said. All
Hey, he's
right,
by himself.
so and but that opens up the show. The next one is QT Marshall versus Gravity. And you might be
Wow.
saying, who's Gravity?
Oh, I know who Gravity is, man. He's like that guy that does the moonwalk.
Yeah, that's what he does. He does like the spacewalk.
I think he's actually
Well,
Bandito's brother, from what I hear. But
yeah. Apparently,
yeah, he's
like he needs to
got
get a
ways
little
to
bit
go.
more like get a little bit more matches under his belt before he gets to win. So
Yeah, he's
QT
got a little
Marshall
ways to
wins
go.
this one,
All
and
right,
we got Luchasaurus versus a jobber. I didn't catch his name.
dude.
So
Like every
Luchasaurus
match on that show was
wins.
a squash.
It was a squash. Yeah,
Well,
I
every
don't know
match on the show
why.
was a squash, dude. Like, yeah, that's a worthy investment of your time. Squash one, squash two, squash three. Man, so whoever the guy that like you can't think of his name, he obviously beat Luchasaurus, right?
No, he did not.
Oh man.
And Luchasaurus beat him in like 5 seconds.
Well, that
Okay,
was your
and
main
our
event?
main event,
Oh, there's 4 matches? Okay.
they had 4 matches.
Wow.
Our main event, no interviews, no like, other segments other than matches.
Hey,
They
that's
had
what
Tony
Rampage is famous
Storm
for. Zero
and
story, all
Paige versus the like Japanese lady, I can't pronounce her name,
oh,
and
they had a
Britt
women's
Baker.
match.
So who do you
Okay.
think won that one?
I want to say the people that have a match at the pay per view won that one.
Well, they all four have a match at the pay per view.
Oh, it was
Remember, like
oh
they're
it was
doing a 4-way at the pay per view. This
dude,
is technically the 4-way.
that is so dumb. That is just like the definition of
It's like a
lazy book.
preview of the pay per view. So it's
Let's
like
see. I'm gonna
getting your
say
preview.
the faces win. Hey, I don't know who they are, but the faces win this.
Well, I'll just go ahead and break it down for you. Tony Storm and Paige win, which kind of surprised me.
Oh, the
I
heels won. Okay.
expected Japanese lady to win, but I guess it doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah. We
matter
we got
because
plenty to talk about, man.
that match was like insignificant. It
We
mattered
have a
not
lot
at
to talk
all.
about when we get to the pay per view, man. Let me just say
Yeah.
that, man. And I need to talk about the women's division, so we'll totally get there.
Well, and I think the women's division is going to be coming up now. And all I gotta say is, man, we will rock you.
And I
And
mean, they sure showed somebody in the audience that like might be a player in the division here before long.
yeah, it's so funny. Not to jump ahead to that match, but I had who I thought was gonna win the match, and then when and the music hit for like "We Will Rock You" and like the person comes out with her family, I had to say, okay, I guess this person's gonna win.
Well, and I'm just like, are they really going to do this? Like, Sheeta's had the belt for, I think, 2 weeks. I'd actually have to go back and add it up and figure out how long she's had the belt for. But
Hey, they're
man,
taking
I
a
guess
sheet on her.
if you have a match in your home country, you get to win. So okay, that's a mulligan.
It's a mulligan. Well, we kind of skipped ahead there, but that's okay.
Uh oh.
Let's see here. So we had all right. So we're on to Collision. Okay.
Okay.
Did
Hey,
you even
two
like?
squash
You didn't
matches.
watch Collision? Did you like at all? Like do anything with Collision?
Squash me, baby.
Okay. All right. So the first thing we got is a talk segment with Jack Perry where he attempts to retire the FTR belt, FTL, FTR, whatever it is, jump
FDR is,
belt.
or no,
Nobody
it's
cares about.
FTW. It's the
And
old
I
belt
really
that
wanted to
has
see him like hit it with a sledgehammer. I really wanted to see that. I don't know why he didn't just go ahead and hit it while Hook was running down to the ring. Or at the very least, when Hook jumped in the ring, hit Hook with the sledgehammer. But he didn't do either one of those. He like ran
I'm,
like a little girl.
I'm pretty
So
sure
that
if you
sets
use a
up the match
sledgehammer.
for the pay per view, and that's actually going to be during Zero Hour. I don't know if you watched
Hmm.
all Zero Hour.
Yeah, I did. I'll tell you about it once we get to it.
Okay,
But
all
I'm
right.
pretty
So
sure if
we'll
you use a
talk about that when we
sledgehammer, you have
get
to
to
break
it,
bones.
but that's set up. The next thing we got is Penta, Orange Cassidy, because Orange Cassidy just has to be on every show.
That's a rule.
Apparently, so. Oh, he has to open every show. Technically, he
Yeah, I
didn't
mean
open
that's the
this
other
one, but
rule
he
too.
is the first match, so technically he did.
I mean it's in his contract, man. If he's on the show, he has to open the show. That is the rule.
He has to open every show. Okay, so we've got Penta, Orange Cassidy, and the best. Actually, no. Who else do we have here? Eddie Kingston. Eddie
For some
Kingston
version of Blackpool Combat
and
Club.
the Butcher, Blade, and Kip Sabian. So
Okay, squash
I
match.
don't think I have to tell you who won that one.
Man, squash it up.
It's squash. Okay. So the next thing we got is let's see here. Trying to read my own writing here.
It's not easy.
Not easy.
I'm sure Punk did something on the show since it's his show.
Uh, I have to skip that because I can't read it. All
Oh
right.
well, I'm sure it's important.
Oh, it's talk off. Okay, it's talk off with uh Peta and the best friends. So no, it's not important.
Oh, okay, that must have been
Uh,
after the match.
Pretty much talk off with the best friends, and I think Peta gets in there. The next thing we have is Dark Order versus Top Flight. Dark
Oh,
Order
top
actually
flight match.
wins.
Awesome.
Top Flight is Action Andretti and some other guy.
Yeah, one of those guys
So
gets
they're
injured
up
all
and
the time.
coming. Apparently they're like working them into the show, but they haven't found a slot yet.
That's great. I'm glad that they're back. One of the guys always gets injured. I can't think of his name, but they're a real good tag team. It's just that, like, what happens is that one guy always gets injured, and then the other
Yeah.
guy either has to do a singles thing, or he just kind of gets to hang out while his like partner is injured, and then they'll come back and they'll wrestle a few matches, and then he gets injured again. So
Gotcha.
that's what's been happening lately. But hopefully they're back now.
Okay, so we got a video package from the acclaimed. It's kind of crappy. It's just a rap. I didn't
Yeah,
much like it. I liked that one girl's rap a whole lot better. She did a good rap. I don't know if you saw it or not. They did it like a few weeks ago. It was that one like girl that hangs out with QT Marshall.
yeah, she had a pretty good one.
She had a really good rap. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if they had like people helping her with it, or if that was like just completely
I
her
don't
own.
know. I think she can. I think she actually can like perform
Pretty
because
cool.
when she did the in the 0 hour, she was like coming out and she was doing like some singing.
Hmm,
So I don't know. Maybe.
I guess. I mean, that's pretty cool if
I
like they ended
wondered if
up
that was
hiring
actually
somebody.
her or if that was like somebody else, but I think it's her. I
Yeah, I
think
guess they
she's
could have
got some
voiced over it.
skills.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
so next we got Big Bill versus a Jobber. And
yeah,
the important thing about this one is we get to see the Jobber whipped like a dog. That's what I
I
want
like
to see. I want to see more of that.
it.
They need to have him bring out like a bigger belt. I think he said he was going to have a bigger, and he needs to end up doing a belt. He needs to end up doing a strap match with somebody.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And or Ricky Steamboat needs to come back and do a strap match with him. Ricky Steamboat says, "Man, hey, I don't like the way that ended. I don't like the way it ended me getting whipped like a dog. I want a strap match."
There you go. One more match. You get that chance started. But
Okay,
okay. I hope they
so
do
we
something with
got
him, man. You think they bring back Enzo, or do you think that's a pipe dream?
Enzo.
Oh, you
Who's
didn't watch
Enzo?
WWF that much. Did you watch him when he was with Enzo and Cass back in WWF?
I didn't watch WWF for like years, man.
Okay, so uh, the guy that's really big, he's cool, and you got
Oh, I
this
know who
other
you're talking
guy.
about. Yeah, I did. I did see them.
Yeah, he's named
Okay,
Enzo
he was Big
Amore.
Bill's like talking guy. He was a good
Yeah, like
talker.
I don't know if they're ever gonna bring him back or what the deal is, but
Did
man,
he get
like
released
that.
from WWE?
Oh, I'm sure he did, man. They actually fired him at least once because he
Okay.
supposedly did like stuff like with women or whatever. So you know how that
Oh,
goes.
okay. So yeah, he's probably done.
I hope they bring him back. If that's all they do is just
I
use him
don't
as a
know.
mouthpiece.
Hey, can't be
Yeah, I
like
don't think
messing
it's
with
gonna happen,
women.
but I tell you, man, if there's any chance of him coming back, that would be great, dude. Because I like,
Hey, and if I had if I had a dime for every chance he had of coming back, I'd have 0 dimes. All
well, I
right.
like Big Bill, or well, I'm not gonna call him that. I don't like the name, but I like him, and I want to see more of him. But I don't know, man. He's just missing the guy that can talk for him. That's what he was missing when they used to
Well,
be a tag
man, I
team.
know somebody that can talk for him, and it's currently his manager.
What the black dude?
No, the guy that's his manager right now is Ricky Outstanding. What's his face?
Oh, Ricky Starks.
Ricky
Okay.
Starks. Ricky Starks could
Well,
talk for
yeah,
him.
I forgot about that. He supposedly got banned or something, and he's a
He
manager for
did.
a little while.
He got banned for like whipping like for putting the belt to like Steamboat.
Okay. Well, man, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind because that's all he really needed is someone to talk for him. So if he's got that, man, he might actually be able to go somewhere.
Now I think next week though Stark's back as a wrestler, so we'll see.
Oh well, I
Yeah,
tell
we'll
you what would
see.
be good. I'd like to see him join Christian and Luchasaurus, and that way Christian could speak for him. I think that would be good.
Yeah,
And I tell you, man, they
but
could
do they
put them
really
in
need
a tag
another
team.
big guy though?
Well, but
They've already
dude,
got
like think of like,
Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus can do more than Big Bill.
well, think of them in a tag team, man. Like if they went for the tag belts, that'd be pretty insane, wouldn't it? Like Luchasaurus and Big Bill tagging up.
Yeah, that could be a pretty good tag team for the tag belts.
I guess if that's if they want to
Huh.
tag them, but I don't know.
Put that in
Kind
their
of feel
back
like he'd be
pocket, I
going from one
guess.
stable to another stable. I don't know if that's really a good idea.
Uh, what stable is he in right now?
Well, I think he's part of the one that's got Brian Cage in it, and Swerve Strickland, and the dude that like is from Africa that like talks for everybody.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he's in that stable, I believe.
He was in that stable, but I don't know. Have they got him on loan to like Starks, or what's the deal there?
I'm not sure about that because I mean him and like Brian Cage were a tag team there for a bit, and I think they're
Yeah.
affiliated with the Mobile Embassy or whatever they're called. That's the faction that Swerve like created is the Mobile people.
Oh,
So
they combined. Yeah,
okay,
Swerve
that's what
combined his
happened.
faction with their faction, and they created the Mobile Embassy. Because the other one was
Mm,
like the embassy, and he was the mogul.
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So they're like one big faction now.
So they're one big
Yeah,
faction now.
okay, I guess.
Okay, so next we have Willow versus uh Robin Renegade. Man, who's gonna win? It's so up in the
Yeah.
air.
Robin Renegade. Man, like I don't know, dude. You know, it could be like that time when that jobber upset Chris Jericho. I mean, man, you know, it could happen. Just saying.
Man, so obviously Willow wins. And this next one's gonna be even tougher to call. Keith
Okay.
Lee versus uh wait, what let me read right in here. Ziggy Rice.
Ziggy Ride.
I've never even heard of him before. I've never seen him before.
Well, that's all these shows are, dude. It's basically like development shit. Like that's what Rampage is, and that's the reason why I
This is
quit
not
watching it.
Rampage.
It's
This is
because,
Collision.
well, okay, and let me like rephrase that. Collision is also a culprit of doing this. They basically are like development shows. Like all they do is matches with no story, and it's just development stuff. You get like some guy versus like a name. They wrestle for 10 minutes, and the guy that's a jobber gets experience with wrestling, and the name wins obviously. But I mean, who wants to watch that? That's the reason I didn't watch Collision or Rampage this week is because everything is just going to be a go home show because they have the
Man,
freaking Mercedes Stadium.
back when I was a kid and they had the developmental when they had the territories and they didn't have like the big wrestling organizations. Every show was like that. When you watch a show, you would get like three or four matches of like enhancement talent and one main event. And
Well,
that was pretty much every show.
I
So
guess.
I'm used to it, I guess,
Well, you couldn't
because
fast forward back
I
then.
grew
So
up with that.
yeah, you couldn't fast forward back then either. So you couldn't just
You
skip
could
to the main
not.
event. No. Oh well, I guess that's how it is.
Yeah. So obviously Keith Lee wins.
Yeah.
Next we have a video segment. Oh, video package from the evil guys, the Mexican guys. I'm sorry. I said the Mexican guys got kidnapped in Mexico. Never saw that coming.
Yeah.
All right, so they got kidnapped in Mexico, but they managed to after they took the hoods off of them, they managed to break out and beat up their kidnappers. So that's where
Okay.
we stand. Is they beat up the kidnappers, and like somebody like that I'm supposed to know, but I don't know, actually walked in like to the room, and I don't know where this is going because it's just a bunch of Mexican guys.
And stay tuned for next week.
Stay tuned.
Man, next week they're gonna like hijack a truck and like make it to America.
Oh yeah, I guess they don't have
Yeah.
visa problems.
Hey, I don't know. Hey, I'm guessing they're flying under the radar, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you think so?
Maybe.
All
And it's
right.
only a
So
visa
next we
problem if
have
you legally try to enter a country.
yeah. Next, we have a talk off with Samoa Joe, and it's basically just how I'm going to beat Punk's ass.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Any comment, any like thoughts on that? Oh, you didn't watch it.
Yeah,
Never mind. Never
Samoa
mind. You
Joe's
didn't
probably
watch it.
gonna win this match.
Man, I totally don't think he's going to win, but we'll see.
Well, but he's gonna win. It's Samoa Joe. He's gotta have another belt.
So next we have our main event, which is like nothing. It's CM Punk, Hook, uh, Darby Allin, Sting,
Wow.
maybe 4 or 5 more people. I'm not sure.
And
Versus
everyone that didn't have a match.
Switchblade J, uh, Swerve, Brian Cage, and Luchasaurus. It was so funny because every person in that faction was in a different faction. Like Swerve's in
Yeah.
his own faction, well, except for Brian Cage. Brian Cage is with Swerve, but Swerve is in his own faction. Uh, Switchblade Jay's in his own faction, and Luchasaurus is in his own faction. So they all have like people coming out with them, and it looked like there was so many people at ringside. It looked like a lumberjack match.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like a lumberjack match. Well, that's just awesome. You basically have, okay, they just yell in the back. They're like, if you haven't had a match tonight and you're a face, get on this side of the ring. And if you're a heel, get on the other side of the ring. And all right, we'll just ring the bell.
Yep. So, and CM Punk's crew wins,
Of
which,
course.
and of course, they're the face.
Faces have to win.
Okay, on the pay per view.
Oh, yeah.
Are you all in?
I'm all in, sir. I actually like this show.
Yeah, this was
And
a
the main
good pay
event
per
did it
view.
for me.
I really think that AEW did a great job, and they really earned those 8,000 something fans, 80,000, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of wish the deal
So
would have
for
been better,
Zero
but
Hour, we had
oh, I can talk about that.
Adam Cole
Uh,
and MJF beating the shit out of Aussie Open. Never saw that coming. I know
I
we
did not
both
either,
said we thought
actually.
like there would be like be like something happened that would cause them to lose the match, but apparently not. They beat them clean.
Well, I mean, that's what they would do if they actually wanted this to end. You remember how we were talking about, like,
Yeah,
man, there's
and it looks like
better
they don't.
belt on because then it couldn't end and it would have to keep going.
Well,
Well, guess what?
yeah.
They put the
Apparently
belt on.
no people haven't got their fill of better than you, baby yet.
So I guess they'll keep it going at least for another week. Now, they do have another pay per view coming up. So, man, if they want to end it, they can. And I really think they should end this soon, but
I don't know.
not if they put the belts on them.
They put the belts on them. I think they're going to hold on to the belts for a little bit.
Well,
I think Adam Cole lets it go, lets the title go, and focuses on the title that he has.
Well, so what? We're gonna get like MJF and Cole on like freaking Ring of Honor now? Like, what the hell?
Apparently so. Well, I mean, is anybody else on Ring of Honor that we would watch? I mean, maybe they're going to try to elevate Ring of Honor.
They could try. I mean, like, so your pecking order goes Dynamite first, then it goes Collision, then it goes Rampage, and then we have Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I don't actually watch Ring of Honor. I might have to
Yeah,
start
like you ain't
watching it.
missing much.
I first would have to figure out how to watch it
Yeah, I think
because
it's
I don't
streaming
know if
only
it's
right
even on
now.
a network.
I don't think it is. I think it's only on a streaming platform currently. I don't actually think they have a
So
TV
I'll
deal, which
probably
I mean, by
have
God,
to
please
pirate
don't let
that.
them get a TV deal. Like Jesus, please, we don't need four wrestling shows every week.
I ain't scratch that. I don't pirate stuff.
Of course not. That would be
No,
illegal, and
that
we
would be
don't do
legal. I
anything
don't do
illegal.
that. So
The
I
other
guess I would
match,
have to
I can
subscribe to that
speak to.
streaming platform.
Yeah, I'm not sure what platform it is, but I think that's how you watch it right now. And they're trying to either get it onto a bigger streaming platform or they're trying to get it onto a real show. That was the last
Yeah, they need
time
to get
I
it on a
read
real
about it.
network, is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
they're shooting for that, I'm sure. But I mean, in the meantime, maybe they can like get it grouped up with New Japan. I think they were trying to do like a partnership with New Japan and do some stuff together because they had the Forbidden Door thing and they've been
Right.
borrowing some of the wrestlers lately too. So
Yeah, and all I think would be good is if they each came up with a show for the other person's area. So like they could take a Ring of Honor and show it in Japan. And
yeah,
then Japan could take one of their shows, 'cause I'm sure they have like 15 shows like we do, and they could show it in America.
I think there is a New Japan show that is in America now, and I think it's even got
Really?
like English commentary. If you're into
Okay,
that
I
sort of
may have
thing.
to look into that. May
I
have to
tried to
put them in
watch
the
it once,
rotation.
but I couldn't hardly get into it because the problem is like when the Japanese dudes cut a
Oh, when they do the
promo, it's
video
in
packages?
Japanese, so it's kind of hard to get into the story. I mean, if they got subtitles, I guess you could read along, but still kind of awkward.
I might look into
But
it. So
yeah,
that's a
you can check it
maybe.
out. That was the last time I checked. Is that they had a show here in America with English commentary, so
Oh,
I kind of wonder
okay.
how much crossover is between like New Japan and
Yeah, I wonder if we've
AEW as
got
things
one in
are.
if AEW has one in Japan.
Now, I don't know about that,
Well, I don't know
but
about that. Yeah, I'm just saying they may and
that
we
would
don't
be a
know
great
about it
idea.
because we're not in Japan.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a good idea though if they want to try to do some cross promoting stuff, and then they
Yeah.
could have both of the shows together on the streaming thing, so that way you could watch them both if you wanted to.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can
Let's see
speak to
how it
the other match.
works. All right. So our
The other
next
match,
match is Hook versus Jack Perry.
yeah, it was
Um.
for the FTW title, which that's Taz's old belt. If you forgot, it's from ECW,
Yeah.
so it's
So
basically
that's
like a
so that
hardcore
means that
match.
every match is the ECW match. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. If you defend the belt, it's like anything goes rules. So they
And I
they brought
liked
in
it
like a
when
ringside.
Hook suplexed him through the windshield
Yeah,
because
they
I'm
brought
pretty
in like a
sure that was a
limousine.
real windshield because everybody got cut up.
Yeah, I'm thinking that was the real windshield because both of them got cut a little bit. They didn't like get gashed or anything,
And
but both of them
and
definitely took a rip.
but right before he got like suplexed, Jack Perry was getting ready to like suplex him, and he made the statement, "This is real glass."
Yeah, he did.
And then he got
And he wanted to make sure you
suplexed.
knew it was
And so
totally real glass,
yeah,
man.
so that was like a big plus. People getting cut up from glass like that.
Yeah, it was a big spot.
and Hook
Uh,
takes back the championship. So what's going to happen to Jack Perry now?
well, I guess he could feud with some other people. I mean, he's not quite like a main event level talent, but he could probably. Well, we need heels right now, so let's see. He could feud with. Hmm. Definitely would be a face. I'll think about it and see if I can come up with something. But
Okay.
I imagine Jack Perry's going to feud with some faces because well, there's a lot. There's always been this problem in AEW where there just isn't enough heels. Basically, everybody in the company's a face, and you got like two people that are heels. So that's a problem. But I think Jack Perry could
Hmm.
definitely like fit that need. You could have him feud with somebody that needs to like get over. So he could.
Yeah, he
Um,
can feud with some of the new guys, some of the new talent.
Yeah, I was thinking about that guy. Well, I guess he doesn't really need it. That guy that runs around with Darby Allen, that's like 18 years old. He's kind of getting a push,
Oh,
like
well
just by being
now
close to Darby Allen.
they're still feuding with Swerve
Yeah,
unless
so he
unless
doesn't
they end
need
up
it.
blowing it off after this match,
Yeah, so he
which
doesn't
is a
like need it. But
possibility.
I think he could definitely feud with like one of the like newer talents that needs to, that needs kind of a rub. They need to kind of work together a little bit. I could definitely see that. Um, they may just end up having him like chase a feud at this point. Like he might just have some matches to build him up again, and then he like runs into somebody because I'm guessing he could probably do some squashes here for a little bit. As he kind of needs to he needs to get built back up again after he
Yeah, after he
lost to
lost
Hook.
this feud. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see that though. I could see him feuding with somebody, and like I said,
Okay.
maybe he even ends up winning the next feud that he gets into. If they put him up against somebody that just needs the wrestling experience, they could even have him beat the guy.
So they had some more stuff that happened in Zero Hour, but it wasn't that important.
And no, it was just talking.
They squeezed Jeff Jarrett in there,
Oh wow.
and oddly enough, the Big Show come out. He has pretty
Yeah,
cool
he's
music.
commentating.
I say I like the Big Show's music a whole lot better than I like the Big Show, and he ended up knocking out the other big guy. Yeah, I don't think Big Show's quite as big as that other big guy.
I mean, he's not as big as you might think. He's the small show.
Hey, and that's what Satnam Singh needs to say. I'm the bigger show.
Yeah, and he's the medium show now. Or like you said, he's a bigger show. That would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Satin
but
guy's bigger than him. I'm pretty sure that like
he is.
that Arabic dude that won't wrestle a match, like I think he's actually bigger than the Big
Why
Show,
won't
believe
he
it or not.
wrestle a man? I can
That's
understand
not what he's getting
like
paid
not
to do,
having him
man.
wrestle every week because he's an attraction, but he never wrestles.
Man, he's getting paid to stand there, and he does it very well.
That's
Man,
what
I
he
want to like
does.
put you beside a guy that's like 5 feet tall, so that way it looks like he's a child compared to you, and that's what I'm paying you to do. So, man, just keep
Yeah,
doing that.
that's hilarious. Okay, so now we're officially into the pay per view. And
Oh
our
yeah,
first match is Punk versus Samoa Joe. And I know I picked the winner. I don't know if you did.
yeah. And what do you mean Samoa Joe didn't win? Oh man, I can't
Yeah.
believe Punk totally defended that belt the very first time he defends it on a pay per view.
And very first time. And he defended like a pro.
Defends a prop.
So
Man,
I guess
I
Samoa
tell you,
Joe goes
I
back
wonder
to
if
Ring of Honor.
I wonder
They
if
had him all alone from Ring of Honor in the first place. So I
pretty
guess he
much.
gets to go back.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest name on Ring of Honor is Samoa Joe.
Really? Well, now, uh, Claudia Castagnoli Cesaro is their Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah, but I mean, he wrestles mostly on like Dynamite though.
He
Like you see him
does,
every week
and
on
that's
Dynamite.
funny that like their Ring of Honor champion does stuff on another show and doesn't even bring the belt out with him.
Nah, nah, we don't need that kind of exposure, man, and we don't actually want to admit that he's the champion because
And
if he takes the
does he
L, like,
ever even
hey,
wrestle on Ring of Honor? That's my question.
yeah, he's wrestled at their they do a pay per view every now and then on Ring of Honor. I don't remember what it's called, but
Okay.
he wrestled Pac. You remember Pac before he like got
Oh
injured again?
yeah, he ended up injuring Pac, didn't he?
I don't know if he
Was that
injured
a
him, but I
real
know Pac
injury
got
or a fake
injured.
injury?
I think it was a real one. I don't know if like Cesaro injured him, but I know Pat got an injury and he wasn't able to do the. It was one of the matches that they had scheduled and had to take him out of it because he got legitimately
Yeah.
injured. But I tell you, that's a raw man. Like Pat come back for what, like two matches, gets injured again, and all right, I guess we'll see him in 6 months.
Man, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah, I like Pat, dude. It's he's got the Mark Henry like situation going on right now,
Pretty
and I don't like
much.
that. Every
Yeah, he's
time they
injury
like try to do
prone.
something with him, he just gets injured. I hate it.
Okay. So we got the punk match
Yep,
out of the way.
Punk wins with flying
The
colors.
next we got
Man,
is Kenny Omega and his crew versus Bullet Club and their crew.
yeah, that's what the
Okay.
match felt like to me as well.
Well,
Yeah,
wasn't that
Kenny
much
Omega
there.
and
I,
his
I was a little
guys versus.
surprised that Bullet Club won.
Yeah, they
I'll
kind of
say
stuck that one
that.
out. I guess they're going to continue whatever kind of. See, they need to fix that, man. There's no story, and they need to fix that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
if
the
they
story
need to
was that
do.
they did like a beatdown of like Kenny Omega before the match.
Okay,
So that was like why he had the match because they beat him down.
yeah, that's certainly a reason for the
And of
match to
course, it
happen,
wasn't
and
an
I wouldn't
official
say
beatdown because no one yelled Roadhouse.
that. I like that. Well, I'm assuming Kenny Omega is going to have a singles match coming up on the next pay per view, possibly with Switchblade
Hey,
J,
let's
and I want to see
let's
that.
hope he
Give
has
me
a
that,
good match with
please.
somebody.
Give me that, please. That's what
Cause
I'm
man,
assuming. That's probably the reason why they won.
they just
That's the reason
wasted
why they won.
who's my guy here? I'll see him here. I'll see him here in a second. They basically just wasted my like guy, Ozzy. Uh,
What the Aussie Open dude?
yeah, Ozzy Open. They wasted him.
Well, I mean, dude, I didn't want them. I wanted them to end this like thing that's going on with MJ and Cole because it's at its peak right now and it's great to watch. But the problem is it can't last forever, and if they're not careful, they're just going to beat a dead horse here. So I really
Well,
wanted them to end this, but they didn't, and that means it keeps going.
we'll see how long it can go.
Well, you got another pay per view coming up, so man, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm assuming MJF's gonna have to do something, and they might even have, the Ring Honor title defense. But
That will
I
be a
don't
good deal. Have them do a
know.
Ring of Honor defense.
I guess. I mean, I don't even know who any wrestlers
Well,
are in Ring of Honor.
and the thing is, like every time they have a match now, you're thinking this could be the one where they break up.
Yeah, because it has to happen eventually. So I guess that's a good decision on Tony Khan's part because at least it makes it entertaining because it's like you
Yeah.
said, every time they do it, you're like, okay, this is it, man. They're gonna break up now. Well, and not if they hug it out.
Okay. So we had the Kenny Omega. Next is FTR versus Young Bucks. Awesome match.
Yeah, it was a great match.
and I assumed FTR was going to win, but about halfway through the match, I wasn't so sure. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I
And
was
then
kind of on
FTR
the
wins.
fence about it.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I was on the fence, man. I wasn't really sure who was going to win. I mean, I figured if they had the Young Bucks win, they'd have to put the belts on them. And I didn't think they were going to do that because, Kenny Omega is still feuding with the Bullet Club right now.
yeah.
So I feel like until that one gets through, and they'd also have to take the Young Bucks and have them do something else. Like if they put the belts on them, then they'd have to have them, like, do tag team things, and they couldn't really help Kenny Omega anymore. So
Well, I'm thinking. At first, I was thinking, who's big enough to take the belts off of FTR? I thought the Young Bucks could do that, and that's why I thought the
that's a
Young
quick.
Bucks could win. But now I'm thinking that FTR is going to end up doing a feud against the Bullet Club. I think that could be the people that take it off of them because they had such a
Yeah.
good match with Bullet Club. Man, they're going to have another match with Bullet Club because that was like such a good match.
Oh yeah, the one that went like an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that could definitely happen. I had a thought that like just burn an image into my head and like please don't let this happen, but you could have MJF and Cole end up fighting FTR again at some point.
I don't think so because they've got the Ring of Honor championship, so there's no reason for them to fight for another championship.
Yeah, belts versus belts.
No. Now,
Yeah, I hope
FTR
that
had
doesn't
like
happen.
3 belts at one point. I thought that was
Yes, they
funny.
did. It's actually kind of funny. So I hope that does not happen, man. Like let's not do that, Tony. Like if you're listening, don't do that. Like let's just MJF and Cole is cool, but let's end it eventually. Like we don't need this to continue to be a thing forever.
Yeah. Okay. So we had next we have Blackpool Combat Club and Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and I think PETA. Uh,
Okay, gone.
I'm
Yeah.
probably not pronouncing his name correctly. Is it
Uh, who?
the Mexican guy? The
Pentagon.
Pentagon. Well, Pentagon's his real name, but and he's not. That's not his name in AEW.
I'm gonna call him Pentagon because that is like the correct way to call him. He's Pentagon Junior,
Okay,
sir.
and we'll call him Pentagon from now on. All
I think
right.
they call him
So
Penta in like AEW, and that's dumb because Pentagon is what he needs to be called.
yeah. Okay. So basically, like, pretty good match. Didn't really feel like there was enough blood. What about you?
Yeah, it's kind of a cluster, man. I thought it was going to be like a
They
recorded thing,
they
but it
always try to
wasn't.
do something. No, it's not going to be a recorded thing. They have a live audience.
Well, I thought that's what they were going to do, but they didn't do that. Instead, they like tried
I
to
guess
work
they
it out
fooled
in the
you.
stadium. Well, because that's
They
how it
always
went the
try to
last
do
time.
something different with like one of the like their matches, and I thought the like skewers for like the like
Oh, that was awesome.
uh, you thought that was awesome.
Yes, like when he like skewered Moxley and like a few of them fell out, and then there was like five that were still stuck in his head. Man, that was my MVP moment of the match.
Okay, I thought it would have been cooler if he had actually like got like a bunch of them and like trapped the guy like where the guy couldn't like move, and then like started like sticking them in the guy.
Oh wow, man, I
That
got
would have
some
been
quick action.
big. And I
Yeah, that
mean,
could have been
it's
bad.
not gonna like hurt him too bad because they're like the things they use for acupuncture. That's what they're
Yeah,
supposed
they're
to
like
do is
little
stay
pins,
stuck
so it
in
ain't
you.
gonna hurt too much. Well,
Yeah.
Moxley got some fork time in, so I mean that was pretty good too.
So
There's forking
I
time.
guess I can see him like sticking them in Moxley's head, but I don't know.
Well,
I just felt
you
like
tell
they
me,
could have done
dude.
more with it.
I I I was kind of wondering if they didn't want to go too overboard, but they didn't really have any other matches that were hardcore matches on the show. So I mean, they could have dialed it up to 11 on that match if they wanted to, but eh, it was all right. I liked the first stadium match better because it was tape, so they were able to like do a whole bunch more because since it was
Right.
tape, they could go and edit
And
it
it
later
had
and
an
stuff
empty
like that.
stadium, so
But that's also true. They didn't have to worry about hurting anybody, so they could just basically come up with anything to their imagination. So
yeah.
it's all right, but I like the first one much better.
Okay. So next we got is our four-way match with Paige, Tony Storm, Britt Baker, and Japanese Girl. And like I said, I thought Japanese Girl was going to win until I saw Paige come out to like actual real music with her family with her. And I
I
thought,
thought the same
oh
thing.
my,
I had that in the back of my mind. I was thinking, I'm like, well, now wait a second, isn't Paige from England? And she is. And I'm like, well, man, you think they're gonna let her win just because? Yeah, sure
well,
enough,
they
that's what
are.
happened. Because I had Sheeta defending because I'm like, well, she's only had the belt for 2 weeks. But then I forgot, oh, well, like Paige is from England and, her family and who gives a damn? Like, she can't
Yeah, and I'd
wrestle,
say it's
but
probably the
she's
biggest
going to
match
win.
of her life because I don't think she won the women's title in WWE. Or no,
That's
maybe she
fair.
did.
Well, now, she might have won the Divas belt. You remember that, like, goofy looking
Yeah,
belt that looked like a butterfly? She
she
might have won
beat
that.
AJ for something.
Yeah, that might have been it, but I don't think she actually won like the other belts. She might have won the Divas belt or something, but
Okay. So man, we will rock you.
yeah, I mean, Paige won, and I have no idea what the women's division is doing at this point.
Well,
Like,
I called it that the Outcasts were going to break up. So that was a
yeah, that's what it's
breakup.
looking like.
Obviously, they're broke up. I mean, Paige won, and she beat Tony Storm to win.
Yeah, so I guess they're done.
So that's a breakup.
Well, that's fine by me, man. They need to like have better matches. Like it seemed like they basically had the entire women's division in a faction versus the other entire women's division.
Yeah.
So to me, it felt like every match was the same, and I hated it because like, oh, we're gonna do this person versus this person, and then like, well, everyone from her faction comes running out and interferes. Everyone from her faction comes running out and gets into the match, and it just felt like everything was the same. Like I didn't enjoy that. So if they're gonna break up
And you
all the
know what they
factions,
really
that's
need?
fine.
And more
What's that?
Rio.
More Rio. Well, I
It's
tell you,
that's
man,
what
that
I'm
when they go
saying.
to Japan, like their next pay per view, like 5 years down the road, when they go to Japan and like do the Tokyo Dome, man, they need to make sure they let Rio in now.
Eh, oh, they already said they're going to be going back to like Wembley Stadium next year.
Yes,
So
I saw
apparently this is
that.
going to
I
be
mean,
their like WrestleMania.
yeah, it's gonna be like the WrestleMania. And I guess this time they're gonna have a whole year to build a show, so maybe that's long enough this time. Huh?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
got
I think Paige
Darby.
is gonna win. So,
We got Darby and
Mercedes, you
Steen.
saw her, right?
Do what now?
You saw Sasha Banks in the crowd, right?
I did.
Man,
And
they
what
showed
was
her
that
about 5
about?
times.
You really think
Man,
she's
I
gonna
got a
like make the
little.
jump from like she hasn't been in like New Japan no time? Why would she jump to AEW?
Well, I mean, she basically would get to wrestle with all of her friends if she went to AEW. In New
Well, it's
Japan, she's just
true.
wrestling
Why
with
did
a
she
bunch of
bother
Japanese
going? Why didn't
people.
she go to AEW to begin with? Why did she go to Japan?
Well, I think she just wanted to go to Japan because, like, So if you work in WWF, they will not allow you to basically do anything other than like what they allow you to do. So
Right.
a lot of these wrestlers have wanted to go to other companies across the world. They've wanted to do these things, like for a year, 6 months, just to say that they did it. And then now they think about what they want to do next.
Gotcha.
And I think because that's what Daniel Bryan did. You remember when Daniel Bryan joined AEW? Like one of the first things he did was he had like matches with just a bunch of Japanese
Well,
guys
yeah,
because
yeah.
like he's not allowed to do that in WWF. So I think that's the situation with Mercedes or Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her. But I think that's her situation. Is she now that she's not under WWF anymore, she can basically do anything she wants. So if she wants to resign with New Japan, she can. If she wants to sign with AEW, she can. And remember, they
I
do that
think she be
crossover
would
show
have
once
signed
a year.
longer than 6 months though. She
Well,
hasn't been there a year.
what New Japan?
Yeah, she hasn't been there a year. I mean, she had to sign
I
longer
don't
than
know what her
that.
contract is like. I mean, AEW, they got like a partnership going with New Japan, so it's
That's a
possible.
possibility. She may end up doing some stuff with AEW and still be under New Japan. Now
Yeah.
that that guy, let me find it. Let me find him on here because I can't think of his name. Will Ospreay. That's who I
Oh
said they
yeah.
wasted. They wasted Will Ospreay with Jericho.
Well,
Waste.
we'll talk about that in a minute, but
Well, we'll
I
talk
agree
about that
with
in a
you.
minute.
Yeah.
But his contract signing is coming up in 6 months. So
Man,
he may actually sign with the AEW.
I wondered about that.
He's
He
talking about
definitely
it.
would get paid an ass load of money. So if I was him, man, I'd pull an MJF, dude. I'd just go to the highest bidder. I
Yep.
mean, I don't know if he prefers to wrestle for a certain company or another, maybe, but at the very least, I would certainly look at what my options are, man, because
Okay,
he's
so we
gonna get
got
a lot of
our
money.
next
Like he
match.
is in the peak of his like life right now, man.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely like hot property.
Yeah. So Sasha Banks might join. We'll see how that plays out. If she doesn't, I mean, at the very least, they might do some crossover action with her if she still
Yeah.
wrestles for New Japan. I think they showed her in the audience one too many times for them not to do something with her. So, and if I'm Tony Khan, I'm signing her, man. Like, I am just putting a blank check in front of her and saying, please fix my women's division.
Hey,
Um,
please pick my women's division up and carry it on your shoulders.
there you go. I'm gonna have to ask you to like carry this entire division because I, that's basically what's going on right now. I mean, you got Britt Baker, which she's basically Charlotte Flair, and you got if Sasha joins, they could absolutely like have her feud for the belt at some
Yep.
point. And I mean, I don't think Paige is going to hold the belt very long because she can't freaking wrestle. Like, so what the
Well,
hell?
I don't know. I mean, she did a pretty good job, like in this match.
Well, they put her in a fatal four-way match. She had to do like two spots the whole match.
I guess.
And let's see if she could give me like a 20-minute classic with like who's like another girl that can actually like go in the ring.
Rio.
No. Yeah, I should just like pick up Rio and just like just put her in her pocket or something.
Yeah, I really think you're like underselling Rio. Rio is like
Well,
a
I mean,
strong
is she
competitor.
not a New Japan wrestler? She's not even contracted with AEW,
She
right?
is she is AEW, I'm pretty sure. She's in the
Okay.
AEW video game.
Well, they've got a lot of Japanese people in that game, right?
I don't have any New Japan guys. They're all AEW wrestlers.
Yeah. Well,
They
I
don't have Will
mean,
Ospreay.
I'm sure like Paige could handle like a match with Rio. She only weighs like 50 pounds, so I mean, even like Paige can handle that.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't know, man.
Let's move
I
on to
don't think
Darby and
Paige is going to
Sting
keep that
here.
belt very long. What now?
So we got Darby and Sting versus Swerve and Christian uh,
In a coffin match,
in a coffin match. That's a pretty good match.
dude. Like
I really think though that like Sting needs to like familiarize himself with the tables before he starts trying to break them, because that's twice now that he's failed to break a table.
yeah, he's had like a table like trouble there second time.
And
But I
table
was kind
trouble
of wondering, man,
again.
you think Sting's done? Like, is he actually gonna retire now, or is he just gonna keep
No,
like
he's
rest?
going to continue to like team with like Darby. He didn't lose. I was wondering if they actually put Sting in the coffin and Sting lost the match in the coffin, maybe it would retire,
Oh, and they
but that didn't
married him or
happen.
something.
So
No, it didn't. I like to, well, a couple things I noticed about the match. First of all, like Darby Allin doing the coffin drop onto the coffin. Like, I, I mean, enjoy this man while he lasts, okay?
it's about
Like,
what
he
I'm
will not be
saying.
wrestling long, but he will have very good matches until he's in a wheelchair, all right?
I thought for sure he could have like broke his back on that coffin.
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't like plastic. It kind of felt like it might have been something with like aluminum, like a pop can or
Well,
something. Like is what the casket was made out
yeah,
of.
coffins are
But
made of
dude,
some of coffins are made of aluminum, but it definitely wasn't plastic.
yeah, hopefully it was like thin aluminum because man, he just freaking back first on that coffin, dude. He jumped 10 feet in the air and just landed on that coffin, buddy. I guess he wants it bad. They tried to put Sting in the coffin. I like the fact that he like put his bat out to keep him from
Yeah,
closing it. That was kind of cool. And then they tried to put like Swerve in the coffin, and he like put his fingers out, and that was pretty cool. They ended up winning, of course, but yeah, I don't know, man. It just kind of felt like this would have been the time for Sting to go because I mean, this is the biggest wrestling show there is. I mean, maybe next year they'll top it. I guess it's they're doing a second one next year, so I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe they get like five more people in attendance or something. I don't know, but
5 more people. Let's
all they
squeeze
have
in
to do is
five more
break the record.
people.
They've got to break that record, man, and I can say, oh man, it's the next biggest show of all time. We broke our record by like two people. Man, we just right before we counted up how many people was in the building, we saw someone walking like on the street, and we said, "Hey, man, like come on in here for a minute." And like, that counts.
It counts.
But yeah, it's a good match. And I pray for Darby Allin's life because he's not gonna be wrestling very long, man. Man, if he doesn't have a Chris Jericho that personally calls him and tells him to slow down, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
there you
sure he's not gonna be
go.
wrestling long.
And I think that was like Will Ospreay's problem because I seen some matches between Will Ospreay and like other people, and Will Ospreay did some crazy moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Like Will
he
Ospreay can
apparently
do
like
anything,
apparently
man.
slowed it down since then. But yeah,
Yeah, someone's gonna have to have an intervention with Darby, man, because I mean, it's cool to watch him do all these spots, but like he's gonna screw himself up, or even that coffin drop spot. Like he walked away from it okay, but he's got to be hurting after that. Like there's no
yeah,
way he's not hurting, man, because Jesus. And would you like to jump 10 feet in the air and land on a piece of metal?
probably
Yeah, I
not.
would. That's like jumping off your house. Like, man, you jump off of your house and you land on like a piece of metal. Like, yeah, that's gonna hurt. Yeah.
There was somebody that got like suplexed on the stairs,
Uh,
and Maybe that was
I
that.
don't
Hey,
know.
that was actually the main event. Now I think
Yeah, I
about
was
it.
gonna say that was Cole and MJF,
Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
was Cole MJF because MJF got cut. I can see where he got his arm
Yeah,
cut.
yeah, it was a rough like spot, but we'll talk
That
about
was a
that
rough
in a minute.
spot. All right, we'll get to that one then. Okay, so I think the takeaway on that is Darby needs to slow down. So
Yeah,
next we got
that's my
Chris
biggest
Jericho
takeaway is
versus Will Ospreay, and that man Jericho had no reason to be in that match.
yeah, I think they well, I tell you, I think the reason why they couldn't have done Osprey and Omega 3, I think the reason why is because they probably want that match for Wrestle Kingdom. The New
Yeah,
Japan guys. They probably want that match, and they probably don't want to give it away on like AEW because they already did it once in AEW. So that's my opinion, at least, is why they couldn't do that. But no, I agree, man. Like Jericho did the best he could for being 40 years, or I think he's even 50. Man, 50 years old, man. He did the best he could, but I mean, it'd be like if you put my dad in the ring with like Will Ospreay. Like you basically got somebody that I mean, he can like work 10 minutes and he's like Windy brother, versus Will Ospreay who can just let sit there and like wrestle circles around people. So
yeah, yeah, and I could tell that uh Jericho wasn't like keeping up with him because when he would do like a spot, Jericho wouldn't land it right.
yeah, not at all.
And
Like what Osprey had to slow down on purpose to actually keep from like outrunning Jericho. And even then, it's
yeah,
like you said, like he was pushing Jericho to his limit. Like even at that. So yeah, it
I
was what it
think what
was.
my you know what I think happened there. I tell you what I think happened. I think Will Ospreay told Tony Khan, I'm working for New Japan, but I want to be on your like Wembley pay per view because and I think Will Ospreay's from England, ain't he? Or
Yeah,
is he
yeah,
from?
he certainly had a hometown crowd going. I don't know if the cop
Okay,
had
all
one.
right. So that's what I'm saying. He probably says, "Man, it's my hometown. I want to be there." He says, "Just I don't care who I have to face. Just any match you want to give me, but I want a match. And if you can make that happen, and we might be able to talk come 6 months now when my light
Yeah,
contract comes up."
yeah. Man, just so you
And
know, my
I think
contract's
that's what went
coming up in
down.
6 months. Just saying, I'll be a free agent soon.
Saying, man, 6 months, and I can either resign for New Japan or I can go with somebody
Works
else
out for you. I mean, just saying. Yeah,
and
I think that might
really
have
like
been
to
what
be in
happened.
Wembley. So I
Yeah,
bet
he
that's what
definitely
happened
got the like
there.
face
And
paint
Jericho
then.
was just the guy that they got for him because Jericho had no and I can't think of what I want to say here. He had no reason to be in that match.
Yeah, he just couldn't hack it, but
He just couldn't handle it.
it's what it is, man. I mean, I guess it's like what you said. Like this was the best match that they could have possibly put on with think of like big match, right? Not necessarily a good
Yeah,
opponent, but just big match feel. That's the
yeah.
biggest thing they could have done was Jericho versus Osprey. Assuming that they didn't want to do, Omega versus Osprey, if that match
I tell you who I'd
up,
like
and
to
it
see.
is what it is.
I'd like to see AR Fox versus Osprey. And it's
That would be
probably never
good.
going to happen because AR Fox is like, and back to the mid
And
card,
apparently he can't leave the country.
back to the no card.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I tell you, Claudio versus Osprey would have been great.
Yeah, Claudio will be good.
Yeah, because Claudio, man, he's just
Claudio was doing
beast.
stuff with Backhill Combat Club. Yeah,
Yeah, so again, he was busy. Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, if I could had, so let me ask you a question. If you could have had Osprey versus anybody on the roster except for Omega, because I'm pretty sure that's going to happen at, Wrestle Kingdom. Well, who's your pick?
I don't know, man. AR Fox would be a good pick. It's probably
Okay.
not going to
Well,
happen, but man, AR
well,
Fox
he
can
was also
go.
tied up. Now, if he actually didn't have visa problems, he would have been in that tag match with Swerve. So, let's assume that
Yeah.
he's out of the picture. You got any other picks?
Um,
Because again, I
let me
picked Claudio, but he
see.
was tied up as well. So again,
Now
maybe this
they
is
got
it.
some good guys. Who's that guy that's in the guys in top flight? Dana,
Yeah, I can't think of their
Dana
names either, but
something.
top flight guys, that's a possibility.
Yeah, it would have to be like an up and comer guy because a
Yeah,
lot of the
somebody that's
like
pretty
people
young.
that are
Uh,
established aren't like technically on his level.
Darby Allen could have been a pick, but
Darby
again, he's
Allen,
tied
yeah,
up.
Darby Allen could.
Yeah, but he was tied up, man. So maybe that's
MGF
what
could.
happened.
I'd
Maybe
say MGF could give
Jericho
him a
was
good match.
MJF. Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe maybe Jericho was the only person that he had available that he could really use because
I'm
we
guessing
reeled
that
off
would be the
like five
case.
guys that are all tied up in a match.
Yeah.
So, oh
So our
well.
next
I
match
mean,
is House of Black versus the Acclaimed, and I'm surprised that House of Black lost because I thought House of Black was doing a good job with the titles. I thought they had like an awesome intro. They had like cool story, and they was beating everybody. They was doing good. I'm just not that big of a fan of the Acclaimed.
well, they deserve better, dude. Like, I think House of Black deserves better. Like, I mean, I don't know what they're planning on doing with them, dude, but they just deserve better. Like,
They definitely
why
deserve
in the
better than
hell
fighting
did they put the
Acclaimed.
belt on freaking Billy Gunn, man? Like, I tell you, like, what I was disappointed in, like, Billy Gunn did not come out to his old theme in WWE, man. I was disappointed at that. And he didn't like, do the like, the thing where I got two words for you. He never did that. And
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a guy in the match, and they decided to put the belts on the acclaimed, I guess. So now you're gonna have freaking Billy Gunn running around with like a belt. It's like 50,
Oh well,
and I mean, who the hell's
they'll
gonna
lose
take
it
the
here in a
belts off
couple
of them?
weeks. They ain't gonna keep it for long.
Well, who's gonna take them off? Like, what are they gonna have a rematch with House of Black? I mean, who's gonna take the belts off of the acclaimed and badass Billy Gunn?
Well, so we established that like Phoenix was not injured, so
Yeah, it beats the problem. So I
it
mean,
could
you could
be
do Death
like
Triangle, but
now that
Pac
we're
is
back in
easy.
America, it could be Phoenix, Pentagon, and some random Mexican guy, maybe
Some random Mexican
Bandito.
guy.
I don't know who they could get for
Well,
their
that's
third
the
member.
problem. Is Pac is injured, so they can't do Death Triangle, so that sucks. I guess you could do Blackpool Combat Club, but I mean, they don't really need the belts. Like back Blackpool Combat Club, they're fine where they're at. They really don't need any belts right now.
Yeah.
And
That could be a good
there's
feud for
not
them.
enough
Well,
heels,
they have
dude.
to have a
Like
new feud. Let's see.
there's just not enough heels right now, man. It's the problem. Like there are no heels that are on this roster.
Mm,
I mean, you got the Gun Club with what Switchblade and his dudes, but they're tied up in
yeah.
a feud right now.
Well, they're part of Bullet Club now.
Yeah, so they're tied up in a feud
Gonza!
because I still think I tell you what I need to have happen. I don't know if they do this or not, but I want to see Billy Gunn turn on the acclaim and he joins
Really?
his son. Yeah, like he joins his actual two sons for real. Like he sees his two sons that are like in a tough spot or something, and he just decides to like turn on the acclaim to go help his sons. And man, I think that'd be a really cool story if they do that. But We'll see.
I don't know. I think what happened with that was I think his sons decided amongst themselves that they didn't want like Billy Gunn working with them. They
Well,
felt
Billy
like
Gunn would go heel
it's time to
though.
move
Would be
on, time to get away from their dad, and I
yeah, I guess
think that
so.
was like something that they came up with, and that's why they won't put him back with the Guns.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, maybe they want to completely distance themselves from Billy Gunn. But
Right.
I mean, I had Billy Gunn going heel, but yeah, I guess I could see that they just don't want anything to do with
Yeah.
him. But I just don't know who's going to take the belts off of him because I agree. Like, I don't think Acclaimed and Billy Gunn are going to have the belts for long. But I mean, who takes them off? Like, I guess they could just like have what you call them, House of Black could do a rematch, I guess, and win. But I mean, you're just playing hot potato at that point, so I don't think that's a good idea. But there's not a heel trios faction out there. And even Pentagon and like Phoenix and some random Mexican guy, like they're faces now, so that
Well,
doesn't
they're
work.
faces, but they can still fight them and take the titles off. I mean,
Yeah,
uh, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Or
It
they
just
could
doesn't
go with the
feel
Blackpool Combat
right.
Club. Blackpool Combat Club because probably need somebody to like battle now. Because I would say that they're probably now they've had the stadium match. They probably blew off that feud with them.
Yeah, I guess they could like give them something to do. But I feel like that'd be like beneath Daniel Bryan, because I'm guessing he'd be the
Well,
third
Danny
guy,
Bryant's
right?
not
You'd
going to
have
be back for a while, so
so it'd be what Moxley and Cesaro and who else?
Will Ryuta.
Oh God, that asshole.
So they've
Yeah,
got
I
like
guess.
they've got three people. They
Yeah,
got three
I forgot about
people.
Dead Weight there. Yeah, he could definitely like be in it.
Dead White. I'm thinking he's their job guy. Whenever they have to lose a
Yes, he
match, he's
loses
the one that
every single
loses it.
match. If someone needs to take a pin, it's him. And I don't
He's the
like
guy that
that.
takes the pin.
Every single time.
Well, now actually, this time they actually had Cesaro take the pin. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cesaro, and it's not going to really do any damage to him. I mean,
no,
I wanted to see Cesaro go after like the world belt at some point.
he's already
Never
got the
going
world
to
belt. He's got the Ring of Honor world belt.
Yeah, he's got that. Are you sure he's got it, man? I didn't see it last night.
He doesn't. He doesn't like want to be bothered to pack it around.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty heavy, you know. It's kind of awkward, so he just leaves it in the back.
It's funny because like Kenny Omega would always bring his like crazy belts to the
Yeah,
ring that he had from like other promotions.
I'd like to see like Cesaro versus MJF at some point. That'd be pretty cool.
Man, that's a long way off, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about what MJF's future is because man, it's pretty wide open if you ask me.
It's pretty wide open. So basically, so we have a match with MGF and Adam Cole, and
Yeah,
awesome
it was great.
match. And
Man, I was
MGF and Adam Cole are still buddies.
I was
And
on my
Roderick got
seat.
into it like we thought. Thought Roderick would get in there, and he did. But he
He
wasn't
did
a
so.
decision maker. So, man,
Yeah,
I guess MGF
I did
needs a new dance partner.
I didn't see that coming, man. They ended up deciding to still be friends afterwards. So I guess that makes the most sense because they are the Ring of Honor tag champions for the time being. So
Yeah.
I guess at the very least, they need to be friends for a while. So that's okay. But yeah, I guess MJF is off to do whatever. Cole is got issues to work out with Roderick Strong, so I'm guessing that's what he's going to do next. Oh, maybe they do a tag match. No, well, MJF would need somebody to tag with. Hmm.
Hmm.
Maybe they could do something like. Roderick Strong and Cole, and they could kind of play as the heels versus MJF and somebody.
Well, no, because that would put like Cole against MGF, and they're on the same team now.
Yeah.
I don't think Roderick Strong's gonna do anything else with him. I think he's done.
Really? So what do you think
Yeah, I
happens to
think he's
Cole? Is
served his
just going to go into the
purpose.
shadows?
No, because unless they're gonna feud with his faction,
Uh,
because he
well,
has a
now
faction now. He's in a
I don't think
faction.
he really joined that faction, did he? He just kind of like
He did
they were
join
kind of
that
like being
faction, I
friendly towards
think.
him.
I think they recruited him.
Well, they were just
Recruited
being
Roderick
friendly towards him,
Strong.
weren't they?
So
I don't think he actually joined. I think they were
I
just being friendly towards him. But
no, I think he did. I think he's in that faction.
well, maybe that's their first tag team defense. Is it's MJF Cole versus Roderick Strong and one of the guys that's
Yep, could be.
part of his faction or whatever. I mean,
I guess we'll find
possibly.
out Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to do something with Roderick Strong. I mean, if they don't, I'm going to be really disappointed because they've done so much
Well, he
with
needs to get
him.
that brace off his neck first, because technically
Well,
he's on the
I'm
injured
sure that
list.
brace is like a prop, dude. His neck is fine, and he's just
Oh, well,
wearing
I
it to
know
like.
that, but I mean, as long as he technically is wearing the brace, he can't be wrestling.
That's true, but he's going to do one of those things where he like takes off the brace and he like beats people up with it or something like that.
Oh, yeah, maybe he'll come out and, oh, I see what happens. Okay, so like MJF, Adam Cole are doing a talk off. All right, he comes
Yeah.
out, he like joins in the talk off, and then his like boys come out from his faction, and they all start beating on him, and he like whips the brace off and starts beating on him.
Oh, hey, there you go. So they do a tag match with MJF and Cole versus the two guys that are friends with him. And like maybe Roderick Strong is there on the side just hanging out. And then like you said, maybe he like factors into the match. Maybe he like whips off the brace and does some kind of a thing and then Cole and MJF end up losing. Maybe that's what happens.
I don't see him losing the tag match. I don't see him losing the tag titles.
Well, I
I
mean,
see
are
him
we going to
keeping the
get an
tag
MJF
titles till they're
Cole
ready to
segment
break them
every
up.
single week for the next 6 months?
I don't know how long they're going to keep them going, but until they're ready to break them up, they're going to have them titles.
Well, I think that's how they could get the titles off of them, is they could do it that way, where they have Roderick Strong on the side, and he ends up helping the two guys that are in this faction win. And I don't know, dude. I just feel like MJF and Cole have to blow up at some point, and I feel like the longer they put it off without it happening, the more anxious it's gonna make me because they have to do it at some point. I mean, they're not going to be tag team guys forever, and not to mention, like
Right.
MJF has other things to do. Like he's got his next feud ahead of him, whoever it's going to be. So, and he's not going to really be able to do much with Cole unless maybe Cole and MJF sit here and like defend the ROH belts every week on Dynamite against some jobbers. Maybe that's what they do for a while.
Maybe.
I mean, otherwise, MJF's going to have like a match against somebody, which I thought they were going to do Punk at the next pay per view, but I'm going to like walk that one back because
Okay.
MJF's basically face now, so I don't think they're going to do it.
No. No, I don't see him doing Punk versus MGF. They haven't set any groundwork for that.
Well, the groundwork is right there. Like all they have to do is like have MJF come out and say, "Hey, like, yeah, I see Punk's got this new belt," and he's like, "I'm the champion. What's the deal with Punk here?" So
Yeah.
like they could really like set that feud up in 5 seconds if they ever needed to, but I don't think they're going to do it at the next event. I don't even think MJF has like an opponent. Like I don't think. I think
Nobody
they'll
has an
do.
opponent. There's like two matches named.
Well, MJF and
And I
Cole, I
can't
think
even
they're
remember
going to have
what the
a tag
second
match.
one is.
I think MJF and Cole has a tag match at the pay per view. That's what I think they're going to do because I thought at first they were going to do a singles with MJF and somebody, but
Yeah.
since they won the belts, I think they're just going to have a tag match with somebody. That's going to be one of the matches on the card is MJF Cole defends their new belts against like and insert jobbers here.
Okay.
I think they're going to do Kenny Omega versus like Switchblade Jay or one of the other guys, and that's going to be an awesome singles match. I think they're going to do that. They're going to have Paige defend the belt against the person that is going to beat her.
Good.
And
You don't think she'll keep it for more than 1 week?
mm, not going to have and maybe she and because like she had to beat Tony Storm to win. Tony Storm's going to be fired up, so maybe they have like a match at the pay per view, and then they officially pick up the faction.
Yeah.
I could see that. Kenny Omega versus Jay. That one kind of comes from the match that they did at the pay per view. So that's okay. That's like two matches. Um, let's see. You could do. Uh, who else? MF and Cole could the two guys that Strong has been hanging out with. That's a possibility. You could have MF and Cole win. Apparently, that's going to be a thing. But that's three matches that I can come up with. You could have the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, and they could face like some jobbers maybe. That one might be a stretch, but there's not really too many because I think of like Jericho. Like you could have Jericho face somebody at the next pay per view, but who would make sense? Like, can you think of anyone that would actually make sense for Jericho to face based on where he's at in the story?
I don't know what they're going to do with Jericho because I thought they were going to make him a face, but he did like all kinds of cheating during that match and got booed all over the
Well,
place.
that was just
So,
because they were in Wembley because they knew that like Will Ospreay was going to get cheered because it was in England. So they just had Jericho play the heel because he's not going to get cheered. So I think it was a one-off deal. Like if Jericho is going to continue to be a face, but it was just a one-off, like for that match where they had Jericho like trying to heal it up. I think,
okay.
but that's the problem is I don't know who he could face. Like, is there any kind of match that would make logical sense based on where he's at in the feud? Because I mean, he lost to Will Ospreay. Like, let's not forget that. So, I mean, he's still feuding it up with Don Callis, I guess. I mean, he could face Take a Shit or somebody like that at the next pay per view, maybe.
Yeah, he hasn't fought Take a Shit yet.
So I guess he could fight like one of Don Callis's guys again. But I don't know. Kind of feels like they need time to build that, but
Well,
we'll
there's
see,
no
dude.
point in him fighting another person, Don Callis, because he already got beat by Don Callis.
Well, so then where does he go from here? Does he like start a brand new feud 1 week before the pay per view?
I don't know if he's even
Guess
on the
not.
pay per view.
Well, he might not be. I'm just
Yeah.
at this point we got to put matches on the pay per view, right? You got to get like maybe 6 or 7 good matches, and there's two matches I think right now. I come up with about three right now, so that's five. So that's decent for a pay per view, but there isn't like big match on there that's really going to get
I
me to
just don't
buy
see
the
how
pay.
what I think happened was I think they had like a pay-per-view set up for like for all out. And they had a date
Yeah,
set because you have to like plan these things in advance. And they
okay.
had it set, and the only date they could get Wembley was for the date 1 week before this one. So they had to take it because they wanted Wembley,
That makes
but they
sense.
already had the other ones set up. So I think that's how they ended up getting screwed and having two pay per views back to back.
That would make a lot of sense. That they just
Yeah,
kind of got
because
they just kind of got screwed with
no one in their
Wembley.
right mind would plan to have two pay per views back to back.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think they would have done it, but I mean, they could have always canceled that next pay-per-view. I mean, they hadn't even built any matches for anything yet. So, I mean, he could have just canceled the next one or pushed it back. I mean, he doesn't, maybe he pushed it back a month, you know? It's not like he has to cancel it per se. If he had just pushed it back a month, they'd at least have a few weeks to build something.
Man, but he wants your money.
I ain't sure ain't gonna get it, man. I mean, and I guess we'll have to wait until Wednesday to actually figure out like what the matches are going to be because we just have no idea. There's what like two matches. I can't even think of the second match. I was going to try to Google it here and look it up on the internet and see if I can figure it out. But there's one match, and let me see if there's a second one yet. What's it called? All Out
All out, yeah.
card. Uh, let's see. Two matches have been announced. Okay, that's all I thought. The two matches are Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin. We talked about that.
Right.
Uh, Apparently, oh, Miro and Hobbs. That was the other match.
Okay, Mirror and
Okay.
Hobbs, that'll be a good match.
Yeah, that'll be a good match. I like that. I think I went to one of these websites and they've got some matches updated card. So apparently they've got matches that are going to happen. They just haven't like posted them yet.
Huh.
But they've got Kenny Omega versus Take a Shit. They've got
Okay.
Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho for the TBS belt, and they've got they're going to do Orange Cassidy versus Pentagon, and whoever wins that is supposed to face Moxley for the Intercontinental belt. So obviously Orange Cassidy's going to defend. So he's gonna face Moxley apparently.
Hmm. Okay.
All right, so I still haven't found it, man. Like I have not found the match that is getting me to buy that pay per view. So well,
All right.
I'm
Let's go
guessing
ahead and
they'll
wrap up
announce.
this recap. All right. So I want to thank everybody for listening to our like wrestling recap. I know it was a little bit long, but we had a lot to cover today with the pay per view, and I'm gonna be like doing like video games here shortly once I get figured out the problems I'm having with my 8K video recorder because right now I'm not don't have a video recorder that can record in 8K. May do some less than 8K videos of something, possibly, but ultimately I want to get back to 8K, so we'll see how that goes. All right, and I want to thank everybody for watching our show and tune in next week.